So today you join me in London. The sun is just rising. It's catching the buildings behind me. I'm just got off the tube at Vauxhall heading down towards the US Embassy to get a US visa. Crew visa, of course. If you're not familiar with the channel, I'm an airline pilot and I need one of those to go to work in the US, and I'm going long haul later this year. So that might even be a reason for you to subscribe. Anyway, I'm going to grab a few candid shots, the old black and white or the monochrome. I'm using the trusty Sony NEX-7, 24 megapixels, 10 years old now, no need to change out for anything else. Of course, I use a Sony ZV-1 for a lot of my kind of video content on my other channels, but this is my go-to camera. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, I'm going to just take a few shots, enjoy myself today, and who knows what will reveal itself through the lens. I'm Ed, and this is my contrails. So that's it, in and out, 8:05. There you go. I was #1 in the queue for the interview, so it really paid to arrive early, get things sorted. Apologies for the lack of angle on this, just a little 16mm lens. So I'm going to go down towards Battersea Park, I think. That's the plan. The sun has risen a little bit, but we've got some diffused light, so who knows what we'll get. And that's the joy, I suppose, of street photography. You never quite know what you're going to get. And you know what? You grab a camera and somehow a city feels different. You start to see different things. So let's head on down the road and we'll see what we can get. So here we are down Battersea Power Station, that famous power station. I believe it used to power the London Underground at a time, no longer in use, unfortunately. But just look at that stunning skyline. Some of the modern buildings next to the old, that classic kind of four chimneys, iconic, and if it hadn't been for the camera, I probably wouldn't have found myself down this little side street. That's the places that the camera takes you, to kind of curiosity down side streets just to see what you might see. And you might ask, Ed, what is it about monochrome? It's not all about the color at the end of the day. Sometimes it's about light and shade, and sometimes the only way to bring that out is to actually get rid of the color completely. It's about contrast, it's about darkness and light, it's about getting right from one end of that spectrum to the other, and the grey scales in between. I love it because it's classic, it's beautiful, and to be honest, sometimes the color can distract you from what the image is all about, the shapes, the light, the shadows, and everything else. I thought I'd just stop off, local restaurant, grab a coffee and a sandwich for later on. What the camera has kind of told me, or taught me to do, is to interact. It's made me feel a bit more connected, and I don't feel as self-conscious. I'm more likely to interact with people that I would have never done before. It's a great tool to break the ice, and as a result, it's made me feel an awful lot more connected to the people that I've been photographing. So this is a bit of a revelation for me. I'm not really a street photographer at all, but I kind of like it. I like the whole idea of just having a chat, and it kind of adds the day out when you're by yourself. So I'm really looking forward to more of this when I'm kind of down route and in strange cities, just talking to people and using the camera as an icebreaker. Who would have thought? There you go. Well, come inside. The architecture is stunning inside Battersea Park. car station. Hadn't realized how well developed it is as far as a shopping mall is concerned. So all I'm using is the kit lens on this, the 16 to 50 OIS. So no in-body stabilization on this, just in the lens itself. A little lav mic plugged straight into the 3.5, and that's what I really love about the NEX-7. It's kind of a vlogging camera, even though you can't see yourself, but on the basis that the lens is kind of pointed towards me right now, I'm kind of hoping that I'm somewhere in the frame. I'm just literally at arm's length. No tripods, no nothing, just effectively bareback. I've got a variable ND filter, so I can kind of do those longer exposure shots in the daytime. Nice to give a little bit of motion, especially if people are on bikes, etc., etc. And there's no need for anything else. I'm recording this at 1080. There's no need for anything 4K. Go waste your time. 1080p for kind of vlogging, YouTube, and it's all about the size of the files and the editing and everything else that I really like. So I'm still in monochrome. I'll head on down the road and see what we can see. Who knows what's waiting for us at the end of the day? Maybe get that perfect shot, which I will share with you at the very end of the video. So hang about for that one. They all seem to do that on YouTube. A little bit of a teaser. Hang you in there. It's all about viewing time. Well, here we are, back in the real world. Editing this footage has been absolutely wonderful. Back shooting on the ZV-1, just in case you want to know these things. I had a wonderful day out in London. I got my US visa. We're looking forward to my long-haul conversion. I just wanted to thank you for sticking it out so far. If you have done, I'm going to play it all out with a series of kind of photos, a little montage of my kind of day out. Reminds me kind of being a teenager back in the 80s. Shooting with an old Russian 12XP 35mm film and that a wonderful Helios 44M 58mm f2 lens. I didn't probably know it at the time, but that's what kind of suckered me into photography and the creativity, I suppose. The job that I do is very regimented, and I suppose photography gives me that creative side that we often crave a little bit. Seeing a city, seeing new situations in the through the lens is a totally different experience to just walking around. So thank you for getting this far. I'll play you out with a little montage of the day. I've kept it all monochrome, apologies for that. But as I say, I really love having my camera set up, shooting JPEG and RAW. And the reason for that is really having the monitor or the EVF in monochrome basically lets me frame the photograph, lets me play with the light, lets me get the exposure, especially not blowing out the highlights, etc., etc. And that's exactly the way I wanted. If I wanted then to go further, pull out the color a little bit, I've color popped a couple of these using just an app, and that's just the way I enjoy shooting. It's just what I do. I'm not saying it's the right way, but it's certainly a way that I have found to use the camera effectively. I want to build a little bit of a community here. I'm not that bothered in chasing views and subscriptions. I've done that with other channels and I'm not particularly interested in that. What I have done though is channel some of the money that I've earned from YouTube. I'm a high rate of taxpayer, as you can probably appreciate. I really don't want to earn anything off this, so I'm feeding it all back into kind of this channel as well. I have acquired a series of Fuji cameras. The first is the X-T1, which I've kind of done a little intro and unboxing on that one. I've also acquired its kind of bigger brother, the X-T2. But my search is for that kind of filmic look. I know it's used a lot on YouTube, but I want to get as close to shooting that 35mm film without all the hassle these days of buying film, getting it processed as well. So I have done a lot of research. I am loving the X-Trans 1 sensor. It was only available in 3 cameras, the X Pro 1, the XE 1, and the lesser known XM1. So I'm going to continue the journey with that. The camera that's in my bag continually is this Sony ZV-1, just because of its versatility, should I say. Shooting movies, the autofocus is sublime, the exposure is great. If you're looking for a single camera for YouTube, I would highly recommend the original ZV-1. Pick it up secondhand with very little use, and it's a wonderful thing. That's what I did with this one. The other camera that's in my bag continually at the moment is the XT1 with the X-Trans 2 sensor on it. It's a wonderful thing, but the NEX-7 that I've shot all of this in is it's my go-to camera. I have to say, I love the form, the size of it. That 16mm SEC lens, or SEL lens, I think it's called, is wonderful, and I've got the wide-angle attachment. So with the crop factor with the APS-C being 1.5, you put on the 0.75 adapter, and it turns it into a true full-frame equivalent of 16mm or thereabouts. I'm not going to get too into detail in all of this. So that's the setup that I used for this little video. That's as good a place as any to end it. Coming up is the Venice with the XT1. I've been to Florence with the XT1 as well. Some manual lenses there, and I thoroughly enjoy shooting manual as well. So until the next time, all the best now. Bye-bye.